Hey, it's next time.
All right, so yeah, I think also we're talking about
hope you
Star
watched
Wars.
last episode.
If you didn't watch the last episode, back right the fuck
We're
up.
talking about
and
Star
do
Wars.
that. Talking about Star Wars. Can you guys name a sequel that lived up to your hopes? Because we've been talking about how basically Star Wars is tough anyway because it's so sacred. They've fucked up the prequel trilogy.
Is strictly a sequel to something you like that is also something you like?
A sequel to something you like
Yeah.
that is better than you hoped or expected.
Better than I hoped.
Because we're sitting here being like, Disney should have just done X, Y, and Z, and then Star Wars would have been better. But are we just like that with everything? Or are sometimes sequels actually like, do they live up to what we believe it could have been?
I mean, not to bring it back to Marvel, but Captain America, Winter Soldier, and also Thor Ragnarok, in a lot of ways, were way better than they had any right to be based on where their individual series is.
Okay, but they
Thor
weren't
Ragnarok.
disproportionately better than we could have expected.
Thor Ragnarok was a lot better than I expected.
Okay.
The trailers kind of set me up to not have it be way, way better than expected, but
I guess that's true. The
trailers and the movie together were so much better than any Thor movie could possibly be the way that I had expected prior to that moment.
Yeah. It's kind of a tough question because there's some subtleties to it that are hard to express. But like
The Hangover Part 3.
Yeah, but like that's not like a. See, what about
not
like
a joke? I love that
it's
movie.
just you
I
bring
know
it
you
up
love
every
that movie.
time.
What about the sacred cow level thing? Right, like Star Wars is huge. It's almost impossible that a Star Wars sequel could live up to being a Star Wars
Right,
sequel.
like no,
Right.
it is a problem because no Star Wars movie at this point can succeed, or like it can't succeed. Like it can't be as good as people want it to be.
Right.
You know.
And
You know?
it's not even as good as the original movies. It's as good as our collective memory of the original movies.
Right.
The movies are starting to show their age more and more.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know.
I mean, the more we release crazy Blu-ray 4K things, the more the seams are going to start to show, and the more we're going to be able to look at it and go, oh, the set's wobbling, and you kind of get taken out of it with that too, and like,
Yeah. So I'm just like, maybe we just need to stop having hope.
yeah, that's probably it.
Like, I can't even think of video games. Like, no sequel to Pokemon is drastically more amazing than the original as a coherent experience.
I would say the black
cohesive
and white
experience.
maybe, but
I think that
generally speaking,
Gold and Silver, but did
Gold
nothing
and
but
Silver
improve
were-
off of the original.
I would
It
agree with
definitely
that.
did, but I felt
including having the whole first game there as bonus content, which
Yeah.
is kind of incredible.
that's
Like,
really
holy
cool.
shit.
I feel like maybe it's the nostalgia factor. We'll never have that experience of playing our first Pokemon game ever again. We'll never ever experience of seeing our first Star Wars movie ever again, and therefore nothing can ever beat it.
I mean,
don't know.
I mean, when I saw the first Star Wars movie as a kid, I thought it was cool. I also was kind of bored during decent chunks of it,
For
especially
sure.
in the
Yeah.
first half. Like, I don't know. I can appreciate it a lot more as an adult than I could back then.
No, it's perfectly like the original movies are not perfect in any way. When you go back and watch them, it's like, oh, some of this acting is really campy. Like, the plot is not anything complicated. The characters are, you know,
It's a big send up to
not
Flash
deep.
Gordon in adventure serials,
Yeah,
basically.
it's not like.
You know what's interesting about the original Star Wars trilogy? They did a good job of implying a lot of stuff that you didn't see.
Yeah.
Whereas the prequel trilogy tried to show you everything,
Right.
and made it real shitty.
That's the
The
real
Clone
gripe
Wars
with the original ones.
got name dropped in episode 4. I didn't even realize that until like
Who did? What?
the Clone Wars.
Yeah, they talk
straight
about
up
the
get
Clone Wars.
mentioned
Oh,
by
yeah.
name in episode 4, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And so for some, I didn't notice until like a couple years ago. So for some, seeing the title, you know, Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, be like, whoa, shit, we're actually gonna see it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
also
the
that had
same
almost
idea
nothing
of
to do
like
with that plot.
the actual war. Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding. It's just like, oh, now there's a battle. We see a bit of fighting. Yoda's really sad.
No, yeah, we see a couple of Mexican people that are apparently the clones.
What is that guy's name?
Django
The
Fett?
Django Fett.
Well, no, not Django Fett. I know that, but I mean the actor's name.
He doesn't have a name. It's Django Fett. But yeah, and
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, that's the one.
it's always Danny Trejo.
He's the Portuguese guy from the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like people have to have had the same set of polarized reactions as we do now, where it's like, here's Solo. Hey, is that the Kessel Run? Versus, oh, it's Solo. Oh no, is that the Kessel Run?
Yeah.
Like, knowing a thing based on a previous reference and then seeing that, especially for a prequel. That's the big thing about it, is that it is for a prequel. It's a different thing where it's like, oh, it's a prophecy of something that's coming, and then here comes the sequel. Uh-oh, that thing is here. Like, okay, that's setting up an idea and then executing it. Like, that's
well,
not
yeah,
a big deal.
The Clone Wars is just like some throwaway line from the first movie.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we have to use this because we talked about it. So how
right,
can we,
and it's
how
like,
can we possibly do the prequels without doing the Clone War?
Right, and it's like,
And
or
then
you
for
just
some
don't.
reason that became the focus of the entirety of the prequels somehow.
Yeah, right. That one line about like, oh, we fought together in the Clone Wars. Well, time to make a third of the backdrop to how Darth Vader became Darth Vader be all about that idea.
It didn't need to be.
It did not need to be.
You could, I mean,
but it was.
Even in the prequels, they could be like, oh yeah, we just got back from the Clone Wars, fought a couple clones, and
right,
cool.
Like,
you know, like I don't care about
it's
the Clone
funny
Wars
part
because
is,
they talked about it once.
It's like as a
I mean,
throwaway
it sounds
line,
cool, though.
it's kind of hilarious in a sci-fi context because like the term Clone Wars is just such a bizarre and like vaguely futuresque sci-fi fantasy sort of like it fits the mood of those original Star Wars movies, and then you see it executed and it's like something about the concept of this is so fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I will give them credit. Like the idea of Stormtrooper clones as a thing and then using that as the base of that isn't the worst concept. I think the execution was weird.
I get it. It's just like I didn't need it to be that way.
I hear Clone Wars and I think like, you know, two forces which are basically two generals and their forces that are entirely clones of them.
I just if instead of making the entirety of their prequels about the Clone Wars just to explain the existence of stormtroopers,
you're right.
Like you could have instead made a good movie that had like plot and development of characters and stuff, and like not. I don't know.
Can we appreciate the fact that
I'm in a whiny mood right now? I think that's my problem.
Can we appreciate the fact that
though?
So one of my big complaints about kind of Star Wars fandom itself is like I'm not a big fan of Boba Fett. I kind of never saw the point in Boba Fett. He's barely there. He looks cool and is mysterious, but it's like, all right, and what does he do in those movies? Now I know in the expanded universe
he does
stuff,
other shit,
he does other shit, and he's like well regarded and known for all of that crazy shit, which makes sense. But in the movies, does almost nothing.
Yeah.
And then the prequel movies come around. They do this whole clone thing with stormtroopers, and sort of accidentally just basically say, oh, so here's Jango Fett. All these stormtroopers are clones of him. Also, he's got a son who's a bit better, which kind of weirdly puts Boba Fett into a direct comparison with stormtroopers.
Right.
Like, what a stupid move that was. Like,
so then you're saying, well, why is Boba Fett so good, or why are all the stormtroopers so shitty?
You're right.
Like,
so is Boba Fett just better than Jango Fett? And if, they waited 20 years, they'd have been a lot better about it? Or like
100-fold better because, like, in the original trilogy, the stormtroopers suck balls.
Do you think
they're hitting their heads on the ceiling? God damn it!
Do you think Boba Fett finds it weird that he's moonlighting for Vader and he's got a bunch of his dad's clones hanging out?
Yeah, like what the hell is happening?
Like, there's a couple pieces to this like arrangement that just kind of don't really work.
You could just pull the helmet off of any rando there.
Yeah,
and be like, hey, Dad.
oh, it's Boba Fett. Because I mean, also actually, the actor who played Boba Fett in the prequel trilogy as a kid took a picture of himself in Boba Fett gear, like recently, like a couple months ago, and he actually looks pretty fucking close to how the actor who played Jango Fett looks.
Yeah, it's because it's his actual son.
That would be kind of amazing if that was the case. That would actually be some pretty clever, not even necessarily clever, just smart casting, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean,
all right, so that didn't work. Now I have to go to a different magic circle. I forgot how this works.
I guess it's always kind of neat when it's like, oh, they're actually father and son, but like I don't actually care.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I guess sometimes it sets up for things that later on, when he grows up, he's like, oh wow, look at that, they still look the same. Whereas if they weren't related, he could grow up and be like, oh, he looks totally different now. But
oh man,
other than that, like,
imagine if they did a Star Wars movie like Boyhood.
How? Why? Where? When?
Because for the art, Ben. For the art, obviously. There's something.
Did you see that movie, Boyhood?
I didn't see it. I don't know if I ever really want to.
Yeah,
I like the idea of it in terms of the ambition behind it.
Yeah.
As far as a movie goes,
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of a dull idea for a movie.
Right.
Because, like, when you go to see a movie, you kind of want to watch a thing happen.
It's almost, I mean, I didn't see it either, so, like, take this all with a grain of salt.
Sure.
But, it almost felt like they spent so much time focusing on, like, this concept
Yeah.
rather than actually making a movie.
You're right.
You know?
Before they knew what they had, they packaged it.
Yeah.
I don't actually know that line at all. So.
I know what you're saying, though.
So apparently, Mr. G. Bloom is in Jurassic World 2
Yeah, but I heard it's so...
for like 3 seconds, I guess.
G Bloom?
Jeffy G. How the hell? So, how exactly? So is Jurassic World an alternate sequel to Jurassic Park? Is that the idea? Because I'm so fucking confused.
I thought it was just even further into the future.
Is
it
it?
not?
Did Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 still happen?
I don't remember what happened in those movies. So
In Jurassic Park 2, they pulled a King Kong, brought a T-Rex to New
Right.
York.
Well, Jurassic Park 2 is a direct sequel
Not
to the
New
first
York.
one, right?
Yes.
That's all.
And then Jurassic
that all
Park 3,
connects.
like, I don't think really references 2 at all, but it's another sequel that has, so 2 has Jeff Goldblum. It brings back Ian Malcolm.
Yeah.
And then 3 brings back Sam Neill as Dr. Grant, I think, was it?
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
And he's trying to help find, so one of the islands near Nublar happens to be a bit of a like popular vacation place, and a kid that's hang gliding falls out of the hang gliding thing onto the island and then gets kidnapped by dinosaurs.
Wait,
I
really?
hate when
Yes.
that happens.
So Sam Neill gets enlisted to find the kid.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called Jurassic 3. I needed a paycheck.
That's also the movie where
But it's got the
where
same
they take
character.
a raptor throat and use it as a like a duck call, but for
Oh,
raptors.
yeah.
Oh, no, that's actually how that works.
Is
Is
blowing
it?
through blowing through a throat.
Not even a little.
If you blow through Ben's throat, does it call for Ben?
I mean,
Ben,
I'd
Ben,
be
if
right
someone,
there.
if someone
I
blew
suppose,
through your throat, would you?
today. Yeah, it works.
Would
Sorry,
you
wait,
come
no, that
running
was
if
a
someone
Dustin
blew through your
throat.
throat?
It's starting to get difficult to tell the difference.
Oh God.
Oh, my God. You're saying some things lately that make me worried about you, Ben. Let me know how I can help.
So, and then Lost World.
But yeah, I don't know. The
I don't
notion
see
of,
any reason why Jurassic World is not in the same universe as the other ones.
because isn't
right?
Jurassic World as if Jurassic Park actually made it? Like it is a functioning theme park?
I thought it was just a different company. You stole the technology or used it or bought it or somehow like bought the
Oh.
rights to it, you know,
Maybe.
and like did their own thing. But I don't know that for sure. I don't think they cared enough to like
Well,
make any connections.
I mean, you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really sad that none of the Jurassic Park sequels have been even remotely close. They're
Yeah.
all real bad.
Yeah,
Jurassic World was a little less real bad.
yeah.
But
Jurassic
it still
World was
wasn't great.
fine.
The Lost
I
World
still
bothers me
groaned
because
at-
it could have been better.
Yeah. I still groaned at certain parts with Jurassic World.
A bunch, yeah.
But like overall, I was just like, well, it's Jurassic World, like
I still
whatever.
haven't seen it.
I
Is it
kinda
worth
knew what it
watching at all,
was,
or
so-
like?
no, not really. Like, it seems people, I don't know, maybe people just like need to worry less about the source material and more about just like writing something good. I don't know.
Yeah, I
It
think
seems like all these movies just keep tripping on referencing the old shit.
yeah, I feel that about things all the time. Like, just make a good movie,
Right.
you know. I'm much more apt to forgive a movie that's a good movie for getting the references wrong
Yeah.
than
like,
the other way around.
if it's enjoyable, I'll be fine with it being quote unquote wrong.
Yeah. And be like, okay, well, this doesn't get this fact right from the other movie, or like didn't connect the dots perfectly.
Right.
But you know what? It was a good movie.
Yeah. Oh man. Where the fuck is the keep boss? Okay, get off of that. We're fucking there. He is. Yay. I don't know. So that's 4 different sequels at this point now.
Say
I
that again.
guess,
Sorry.
For Jurassic Park, 4 different sequels in 1 or 2 different timelines. I guess I still don't.
Yeah, it's not clear. I don't think
Yay,
it
got a
matters. Like,
Yeah, I mean, ooh, shit. Oh my God! There's just stuff
Sorry.
everywhere.
Rude.
That's all good. What an ass on his phone.
I am rude.
Nice to meet you, Rude. I'm Rick.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Check it out. You got the with the and the with the.
Please don't randomize my
It
fucking
might be
character.
1, 2, or 3 points of that stat. Like, that's... What are you doing?
Yeah.
But for a game where everything else is so nuanced and, like, granular and, like, oh, I have to take the handle off of this sword and attach it to this spear so I can get the stats from this thing.
Detail
Like, I have such
everywhere
control
else.
over everything else, and then, like, my literal character is a random roulette?
Yeah.
Fuck you.